A few days ago, I made this post asking you for suggestions of what you'd like to see in a custom level of Super Mario 3D World, and we got over 1,000 comments. Today, we pushed the limits of Super Mario 3D World modding by using as many of these comments in this custom level as possible. Instead of Koopa Troopa Cave, this level will now be YouTube Comments Cave. And what is our first suggestion? Make a whole small segment where the ground is nothing but toads. So here's what that looks like. The floor here has been replaced with toads, Mario is bouncing in place, and the Koopa Troopa that's normally here falls down. Unfortunately for Mario, if you start a level while bouncing on a toad, you can't move or dive or anything, so there's no way to continue through the level. So we have to add some temporary floor for Mario before we can continue through the level and head down the pipe. Once we head through the pipe, we see a thick pancake Meowser that is climbing in Spot. And after a moment, he disappears. We head up to a pancake Bowser car, and at first I had no idea what these weird shapes were that were floating up here, but I realized that was the smoke that normally comes off of Bowser's car, and that was also stretched because that's part of the model of the car. Next, we want a small Boom Boom that's replaced with Toad. So step one, let's first add a small Boom Boom, and it looks like our small Boom Boom is working out fine. When you defeat this Boom Boom, the music changes to the victory music, so we can celebrate that we've already basically completed the level, even though there's still a lot more to come. And a fun fact about the car here, if you attack this car with a cat swipe or a ground pound or a fireball or something, it makes a sound, and it sometimes makes different sounds too. Now let's swap Boom Boom's model with Toad. At first, I was thinking it wouldn't work because the Boom Boom cutscene would skip and the Toad didn't even appear. You could see the effects of Boom Boom's arms moving, but you couldn't see his actual arms and you couldn't see Toad. So I tried to jump on him, and the Toad appeared! And the Toad just stood there, and it looked like it's swinging its arms and stomping around, but the little Toad is just standing there in that spot. There's dust coming out of it, and I'm scared that it'll damage me. I get close, it doesn't hurt Mario, and I'm trying to jump on it, and I can't damage the Toad Boom Boom either. Even if I switch to my catsuit power-up, swiping the Toad wouldn't damage it. In this area here, I added 4 green stars with Goombas, so Mario can collect these green stars and take out these Goombas. More suggestions. Since it starts as Koopa Troopa Cave, maybe keep the level layout similar, but change the background and scenery to another level. Alright, the background at the start of the level is now from a desert level, and let's continue deeper into the level. The cave is still the same, and there's a new warp cube here now. And if you pop into this warp cube, you end up seeing a giant bird and then falling off the level, which is starting to become a running gag on this channel. The next thing you'll see in the cave is a Spike who, instead of throwing spike bars, is throwing the pink enemies from Plessie's Plunging Falls. Walking into these damages you as if they really were spike bars, and you can learn more about what Spike could throw in my video where we made Spike throw random objects if you're interested in that. I changed the music to be the jungle music once the Boom Boom fight starts, and this music honestly fits really well for how chaotic this is becoming. We added a Magic Koopa here, and 3 double-sized bullies that if you defeat them you get a green star. But we need some way to defeat these bullies, so I made this block up here give you a star power-up instead of a 1-up mushroom, so you could defeat these bullies and get the green star. And just a reminder to be careful to not accidentally go into that warp box, because you know what happens when you go into that warp box. After this clear pipe, there's a switch for each character, and if you step on the switch, a warp box appears on top of you that takes you back to just before the pipe. So you have the slight inconvenience of having to take the pipe again. And up ahead, at the halfway point, there's a Meowser there that runs away. Our next suggestion is to add a random Hisstocrat that can be walked around and completely avoided, so let's add that. And as you might know, Hisstocrat isn't normally supposed to be here, so we can see this from some interesting camera angles as Hisstocrat pops up here. We've got a Hisstocrat here, and we can just make our way around him. Down here, and we've got a wide Goomba. If we add too many objects to a level, it won't load and the game will crash, so I added a snow pokey that was 50 pokies tall, instead of adding 50 unique objects. This part of the level has a bunch of ideas combined, like lava floor, using a propeller box to skip past a more difficult area, platforming from tree to tree, and dodging some giant boos. And the platforming across these trees is really tough because of the low ceiling here, and there are a lot of ways to die here. I'm not sure if it's even possible to make it through this way, so the shortcut option by walking across the top here makes it nicer than trying to make your way across down there. And you want to be careful to not go into this clear pipe at the end because it'll take you down into the lava. It's funny to see that you could walk under the lava, and we've seen that in my modding Shadow Luigi video, and it's also funny that you could climb up these trees through the floor. Mario can peek out from the floor down there. and if you climb up to the very top of the tree, it looks like Mario is doing a handstand on the ground here. Right before going into this pipe, there's another wide Goomba back there, and there's a room with a lot of Goombas here, wide Goombas of course, and there's a POW block to take them out. But it is a bit difficult to get to the POW block itself and make sure that you land on the POW block. And I have to say this again, but the jungle music is so fitting for this level. It sounds so good here. We also added a tree in a corner with a Super Bell power-up on top of it. There's a couch from the Boo levels here that has been slowed down by 69%, and yeah, it moves pretty slowly when it's slowed down that much. I added double cherries up here, and if you get a double cherry in Koopa Troopa Cave, the game crashes. So I increased the limit for the number of double cherries that you could have, and now the game doesn't crash. Now you have a bunch of Cat Mario clones, and I added a warp box that needs key pieces to unlock, but for some reason, Mario was automatically given 2 key pieces right when he started the level, even though I didn't collect them yet. I wanted to show you that you could bounce on this Plessy NPC, and when I tried bouncing on Plessy, one of the Mario clones fell onto the trampoline with a speed of 0 that's meant to softlock you, so Mario's going to be stuck like this. I had the great idea of catching this wild Koopa shell and using it to take out the clone Mario that's stuck on the trampoline so that we could continue, but my shell shot missed. So now, the only Mario that's left is the one that is stuck on this trampoline. You have the jungle music playing in the background, a Koopa shell bouncing back and forth, going through a pipe, and Mario is stuck on this trampoline while Plessy stands there smiling and waving like, "What's wrong, Mario? Let's go for a ride." I added all these warp box key pieces for this locked warp box here, and as I was trying to film around this level to show you what's happening here, one of the Mario clones fell onto the Softlock trampoline again. But luckily, if one of your Marios goes down this gold pipe, it brings all of the Marios there. And we had a suggestion for a giant Goomba and a star power-up. So the clone Marios with their star power-ups can take out this Goomba here, and they can return to the level without any problems. So this pipe is actually really handy. If you ever end up in a situation where you have multiple Marios that are stuck on a trampoline, you could just bring one Mario down the pipe and that'll rescue all of them. And they'll all pop out of the pipe normally, and then you can continue through the level. You might be wondering where this warp box takes you when you collect all of these keys. This is gonna get messy, so I suggest just an empty room. Just a single, completely empty room. I really like the sound of that, having a room amidst all of this chaos where Mario can just rest for a moment. I don't know if this room would be better with a warp box that lets you leave, or if it should be completely empty without a way to exit, but both ideas are really funny. We took the green pipe to the final room of the level, and I was really surprised to see bullies moving around in such a weird way, and it looked like they were falling from the sky. I was confused about what's going on. And then I remembered, we had a request to have a tall spike throwing bullies, so that's where those bully enemies are coming from. And you can also see the big bird from earlier in the background, the one that appears when you go into the warp box that makes you drop off of the level. We have an ice skate that we could use here, and you can take out the tall spike with that. There's a giant green star here, and when you collect it, that counts as the last 10 green stars for the level. There's a very stretched out fizzlet back here, a very tall tree, and a wide toad. There's also a thick bully enemy on top of a cloud platform in the background here, and you might be wondering where the goal flag is. Well, you have a choice between 2 clear pipes here. Which one of these clear pipes would you choose? You could let me know in a comment which one you would choose. If you choose the one on the right, Mario gets shot far away and can't complete the level. If you choose the one on the left, it brings you back to the beginning of the level, and we had a suggestion to keep the goal flag right at the start of the level, and I thought that was hilarious. So when you start off this level, the goal flag is actually right at the start, and you'll be able to choose if you want to grab the flag or if you want to continue into the level and then come back to the beginning of the level after completing the level. I've actually tested something similar before, and if you make Mario start the level right on the goal flag, then you can actually complete the level in what the game considers to be 0 seconds, which is kinda cool. We had another great suggestion to make Mario run on his head, and this is what it looks like to see Mario running on his head through this course. There are really so many great suggestions that you all had in the comments, hilarious ideas, very creative ideas. I loved reading through them, and I really wish that I could have added all of them, but the game crashes and the level doesn't load when you add too many things. Some suggestions were things that could be deserving of their own unique videos, and if one of your ideas didn't make it into this video, I'd love to do this again sometime, and I really hope that I'd be able to include it that time. This was such a fun project to work on, and it is all thanks to all you who took the time to leave a comment and give a suggestion that I was able to make this level. This level came to fruition because of you, so thank you. If you're interested in more modding, more videos testing what is possible in games, you might enjoy some of my other videos. A big thank you to you for watching this video, hoping that you all have a fantastic day ahead of you, and take care everybody.